This is typically what happens in the intro level. Just pointing that out, that's a completely normal thing. The reason that happened is because there's two types of RNG patterns by those bees. There's active bees and passive bees. What I got are two passive bees, so I took more damage than what I wanted to take, and there was absolutely no way I can survive. So, thank God that's like, 20-30 seconds in, so we can reset. That'll typically happen. You'll see a lot of people who run this game just continuously reset. Randomize here in chat can attest to that one. So, anyway, let's just make sure that we get, active bees at least once. This is a passive, that sucks. True. Alright, that was an active bee. So now we're good. Then active versus passive, the bee doesn't do anything if it's completely passive. If it's active, it'll start shooting missiles or machine gun at you, and it means you can take little damage and get through it. So the reason I want low health in this intro level is because I want to kind of fast forward through the vial fight. And it basically, if you have 3 or less health, it instantly cuts to the trigger where he grabs you, and that's going to save the most time. So these cars are also annoying here. We want to get these off the screen as fast as possible. And this ship is RNG as well. Like, that was really bad ship RNG. This thing just scrolls all the way over, until it gets to there. You usually want to end that ship segment with it being over on the side. Alright, that was pretty terrible. 209 intro is pretty crap. But we're going to keep going. So basically, as you notice, we aren't dashing like other X games have, is the dash at the start. In this game, basically, we have to get dash via capsule in Chill Penguins level. So we're going to be doing that here very shortly. That's the first level we're going to. Also, holding start through transitions is the fastest way to advance screens.
Netflix and Chill Penguin.
Basically.
He's the penguin you never really want to hang out with. You're like, Public dancing
Hold me to this. Sounds good, dude. I'm down with it.
He's okay with just holding.
Alright, so this is Chill Penguins level. And, basically what's going down is we're just slowly walking and trying to get up these up this hallway here. And that's the only instance of the game which we'll be doing what's called slope jumps, which is running down a slope and then jumping, which gives us extra height. Okay, so now we've got the dash boots, and these things are really going to make us start flying. Oh man, I'm not used to dashing. Is it really? Is it auto shutdown? It's the buff. It's the part that's blinking. It's pressed. possible. This is Chill Penguin. He's full of all kinds of crappy RNG. And the more he slides, the more time he wastes, which is just unfortunate. So we want him to do stuff like that. Also, something to note about like the level design and like basically after every boss you beat, X will walk towards the center of the screen and do his little victory thing and go off screen. We want to end every fight towards the center of the screen so it's less walking and saves a couple seconds out of the run. Yeah, this boss is another boss that is just completely RNG. He'll dive all over the place and cause a big ruckus. Yeah, this is a really good track, dude. Really. This is, yeah, one of my favorite tracks out of this game. It's definitely this. Or, Sigma Fortress is also really good. Jeez. Alright, so this is the helmet upgrade. And this basically doesn't do anything but get us the, this gets us the arm upgrade later, but other than that, it's pretty much freaking useless, so, I'm not too partial to the, helmet in this game. Oh wow, and I got caught. That's cool. Right on, Joe. Alright, so I'm going to be doing dash lemons, or what we call them. And they're just basically charged regular shots. And they do double damage. Basically the equivalent of a green shot. Or a medium charge shot. And dash shots are really huge in the first 2X games. Not so much in X3 because they took it out, but doing double damage is pretty cool. It makes for really fast boss fights. Hey, what's up, girl? How you doing, dude? Alright, so now we're on to Flame Mammoth. Burning Newmander. By the way, what's up, Akira Coops? How you going? How's it going? Ghost Hunt! Heck yeah, dude. That's what we're doing. Okay, so yeah, Flame Mammoth's level. It's all frozen over because has the Nightmare effect from Chill Penguin's level, so now everything's all icy. Yep. A Nightmare effect is basically the product of you beating a certain enemy's level before another one, and it'll affect the level. Like if I were to come to this level first, not beating Chill Penguin, everything would be flame and fire. But since I beat Chill Penguin's level first, now it's all iced out. Yeah, and I wouldn't have had dash boots. Oh, okay, so I completely messed that up, but I'm supposed to shoot an ice sled right there and jump up like this. Okay, so just moving on with the level here. Oh, I did that way too late. Really bad time. Yo, what up, Rob? Why'd I pause? This is gonna be like a 43 or something. Geez. Okay, so yeah, Flame Mammoth is pretty easy. Just use his weakness and he's gonzo. Alright, so one of my favorite songs coming up is definitely Boomer Kwanger. And he's probably like the only one that has the same name from the Japanese to American name. But this music is really cool in his level. So yep, we're just making our way through his level here. Now I do something a little different than most runners do. I stick with Fire Wave through this section. It creates a little more lag, but it's just the way I'm used to it. So this is Tower Climb. This alone, this section right here, if you're ever like planning on running this game, this part takes a lot of practice to get down. Just to get it down tight. Let's see if I can pull off Mushy Pan Sled here. It's a pretty hard trick. No. Try it one more time. There we go. Okay, second try Mushy Pan Sled. Basically, that's an almost pixel perfect trick right there, where you shoot the ice sled into the wall and you have 3 pixels to make that jump. There's an alternative method called iceless, which basically you don't use the ice sled at all. You do a pixel perfect jump off that wall, and what is also called a 7-pixel wall kick, and it's extremely difficult. This is called the Kwanger Tango. Basically, I'm stuck in the grab loop by just jumping. That wasn't too bad. That level overall wasn't terrible. Decent boss too. Okay, so next up, we've got Chameleon. Now, Stink Chameleon's pretty cool because he has one of the harder tricks to do if you're not doing Launch Octopus first. This is called the Waterless route, and it has the trick called Waterless. And I'm going to be using another charged ice sled to get a heart tank that I'm really not supposed to get. And this is also a pretty neat mini boss. Just give me like really crappy. It's not terrible. Alright, so what I'm going to be doing is using a charged ice sled and sticking it in a wall, and then riding off of it, and then jumping off of it to get this heart tank down here over this giant pit. So I want to get at least 3 or 4 blocks down. There we go. That's called waterless. It's a pretty awesome trick. I was really happy with it when I first learned it. Sometimes, though, if you don't stick the sled far enough back, it won't gain enough momentum, and you won't be able to have enough room to actually reach that ledge. That's a little cool trick, I like. The swamp section is also pretty cool for movement. Alright, and now we're just going to infinite loop the boss, and it's going to be pretty sweet. Sting Chameleon's not even really going to know what to do, so he's just going to jump around back and forth, and it's going to be a good time. Then I finish him off with a dash lemon, and we're in the center of the stage, so we don't really have to walk that far. Is it true that you once ran this game in a dream? Yes, that is true. That is very true, Garo. Alright, everyone's favorite music, pretty much from Mega Man X, is Spark Mandrill, or Spark Mandriller, if you're playing the Japanese game. This level suffered the nightmare effect of Storm Eagle's ship crashing into it, and now none of the electricity works. So that's why we're having like shortages in lighting. See, if you didn't beat Storm Eagle's level, this would just be just like this, how it is now, all bright and stuff, and then there'd be electricity all over the place. And they do nightmare effects all the way up through X6. In like pretty much every aspect. That's just kind of like the term they use for it. Alright, so I'm going to use a boomerang here to grab that heart tank and keep moving and have it follow me. Alright, that was a pretty good level. Alright, so this is a boss that basically we can get stuck in an infinite loop as well. Unless he Mike Tyson's, which means he just like starts punching at us immediately. But usually we can combat that. Like that. There we go. Alright, so yep. There's Spark Mandrill. Pretty much Gonzo at this point. Split. Now, something really interesting about the next level we're going to be going to is we're going to be seeing a lot of it. This being the first of probably 5 times we'll be going through this level. And it's kind of interesting why, and I'll explain a little bit later, but just know that we'll be seeing this level a lot in the near future. Also, with the arm cannon being able to charge special weapons, and me getting a Sting Chameleon C-Sting, the charged sea sting now makes me invincible, so for a short amount of time I can just do whatever I want. So I just grabbed sub-tank there. And if you get hit by the spike on the end of that dozer, you'll die instantly. So it's really important to do that there. By the way, if anyone has any questions about the run, just feel free to answer or ask a question. I'll be sure to answer if I can. Okay, another boomerang grab. I let that heart tank follow me, just to save a few extra seconds instead of just grabbing. Alright, now I'm jumping around here because there's birds that spawn in this area, like that, and they cause a lot of lag if you don't jump. They don't appear. So, and also I jumped up to see that little life above the boss door. That's a part of the thing I need to see later. Alright, and we wrecked him. That is a pretty good track, Akira. That is a good one. Alright, now on to our final Maverick here of our 8 nav. That's Launch Octopus. This is one of my favorite levels. Not really because it's a good level, but just because there's cool movement in it. And I like the water mechanics. You can really get through it pretty quickly. But it's just got a lot of cool uses for the special weapons in it that make it fun to run. It utilizes a little bit of everything. So I'll get a charged sea sting going here quick, and I'll go invincible. And then I'm gonna sit inside this tank's hitbox and just slowly fire off sea stings. Now I'm going to charge up a tornado here and try to hit the underside of this tank. There we go. Now to avoid lag, I'm going to get off the screen. There we go. That saves us some seconds in lag frames. Also get off the screen here so there's less lag. Okay, so I just threw a tornado out and it went into the ground and killed the enemy before he could even come out. That's an easy way to ensure that you just get through that fight as fast as possible and not have to deal with him swimming around. And so, okay, so Launch Octopus here just deals with a huge amount of RNG. So he can do what we call tornadoes, where he'll just like fling around and be invincible. We're hoping he doesn't do any of those, because that wastes a whole lot of time. And so far, so good. Oh, he did one last second. But it's okay. It didn't really waste that much time at all. Alright, now there's one place we have to revisit because we weren't able to get an item when we were there earlier. And that's Chill Penguin's level. And that's a heart tank that we needed fire for. But now X and Zero come down and you're like, oh, like, we found out where Sigma's at, like, let's just go fight him and stuff. So then, okay, so we're not ready for that yet, because we're not strong enough just yet. We need to become Super Saiyan. We need the mighty warrior fist of Shenlong. So we're kind of just going through with C-Sting and avoiding everything. Alright, so there's our last heart tank we needed. How you doing, Stone Trippy? Good to see you. I've played this game many times. And I'm still like... I'm top 20, but there's still like a lot of time to shave. Alright, so... we need to go through this level again. You're probably wondering why I'm back here. We need to go see that little health above the boss door 5 different occasions. And when we do that, something godlike is going to show up, and we're just going to be able to wreck every boss.
Picture Bob Ross.
Picture Bob Ross will appear and will become a god.
Learn how to paint away all our thoughts.
A happy little capsule will show up on top of that. But I need to be able to see this capsule, the life capsule, several times. So yeah, these are all intentional deaths, just to see that health. Hey, thanks, Stone Trippy. Yeah, it was a pretty big grind to get the time I have right now, which is a 37:45. World record's a 35:05. So yeah, top 20 is pretty competitive, and there's still like a lot of time to be saved. How's it going, Quirky Quirk? Thanks for coming into the stream. Okay, so yep, just kind of doing our thing here, trying to jump to avoid these birds from spawning. Basically, that's just going to create a lot of unnecessary lag. Oh, and I accidentally died again.
This is your 5th time, so you have to die again or not?
Yeah, this is it. Well, I saw it the first time I went through the level 2. So this will be my 5th time seeing it.
How did you figure out that you had 5
It was in Nintendo Power.
Oh, it was like a cheat?
Yeah, it was in a magazine back in the 90s. It showed you how to get it.
In the new Game Informer, there was actually an article about, like, games are now, like, losing that aspect of, like, those cheats. So, like, they were talking about some game, like Contra, is that a game?
Yep.
And how, like, if you do that cheat code, you could get 30 lives.
Mm-hmm. It's Contra
like,
code.
Games are missing that, like, cool aspect of the cheat code.
Right. You can't glitch games barely either anymore.
I don't know, that was just somebody who wrote the article, like, just nostalgic.
Probably. They're like, oh, you can't do old codes anymore. But I see his point. Oh, jeez. These platforms are really wonky. If you don't press dash before jump, and if you press dash and jump at the same time, you'll just jump forward. And you'll just jump right into the hole. That's stupid. Alright, so I'm going to be taking intentional damage to do this kind of like quick skip. Also, this is going to be really weird, but we're going to do a dialogue skip here. The trigger for this conversation between Vile and Zero happens when X touches the floor here, but we did what's called a ladder cancel and we skipped that. So now that I'm touching the ground now, the game thinks I'm in the previous room and it's going to start a conversation between Zero and Vile. So when I go over to start fighting, there's just going to be a lot of weird, unnecessary dialogue just kind of floating in the air when things are happening, because the game is trying to catch up with what's going on currently. So now I'm finally caught up with the dialogue somewhat. The game still kind of thinks that things are supposed to be happening when they're really not. right now is when things finally catch up. That saves around 15 seconds of just having to stand there and listen to them talk. And we just use Hadoken, and boom, Bow's gone. So yeah, that quick skip is pretty awesome, because you save a big chunk of time, and it's just kind of fun to watch. But the scary thing about that is if you press start at the wrong time during the dialogue and then you pause the game, you can actually soft lock the game permanently, and you'll have to reset. So that basically that's the end of the run if you mess that up. So now I'm going to charge C-Sting through this section. I'm going to do what's called a Doken buffer, which is basically as right as his life bar fills, there's a little moment of like lag. And there we did. I did the down forward motion right when his life bar filled, and I just hit Y when he started moving. And that made it ensured that I did the Hadoken the second he started moving, saving a couple frames worth of time. Okay, so this is Bow Spider, debatably the worst enemy in Mega Man X history. But we got him in one Hadoken, so that's pretty good. Any percent, he's terrible. The thing about Bow Spider is you just have to know how to read his vine patterns. And once you've got that down, he's not that bad of a boss at all. But until you figure that out, he can bonk you, and he'll throw spiders, and he's just terrible. He's a terrible, terrible boss.
Terrible, terrible human being.
He's a terrible human being.
Because it's spiders.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna do another Doken buffer here, but I'm gonna jump over Penguin's ice shot and do the input in the air and then hit Y when I land. But accidentally shot. So let's just do this. There we go. Save Bill Cosby. He didn't do nothing. Also, a lot of people don't know this, but dash jumping and landing and dashing again is frame perfect. So if you dash the very frame you land, you actually save more time. So that's the difference between having like a 40 and having like a 38 or 37. Dashing can literally mean that much in a speedrun. Like, dashing effectively is a pretty serious time saver. Kind of like the small movements like Super Metroid makes a pact if you like get ledge grabs, and you save a lot of time by doing just really small things like that. So I guess that's just another like game mechanic I guess I could point out. Rangda Bangda here, pretty stupid name for a boss. Also just straight up RNG with Rangda. But I got a Hadoken in on him, which saves quite a bit of time. You want the blue eye. That's what you want the most. The red eye is the next best, because sometimes red eye will move. That was a pretty decent Rangda, all things considered. Worst eye is green, because it just sits in one spot and you have to use the C-Sting in order to hit it. Red eye's the second best, because sometimes it'll stay, sometimes it'll move, but it shoots stuff at you. Blue eye just leaves the eye at all times and just doesn't do anything. So it's really easy to Hadoken those. Alright, this is the level that's really crappy. If you mess it up, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. Alright, I just did a glitch that's called Armadillo Skip. And I just skipped this boss entirely. How I did that was I pushed myself with the ice sled into a negative pixel, which pushed me through the door faster than the screen could push the camera up. And since Armored Armadillo spawns from the ceiling, and technically there is no ceiling at that point in time, I skipped the boss. Unfortunately, I didn't get air Hadouken, which would have been cool to show off, but it's okay. So yeah, so basically since the camera didn't have time to scroll up, and he scrolls from the ceiling, or he triggers from the ceiling, I just skipped that boss entirely.
So, like, the games that you beat are
Well, the game doesn't think I beat him, the game just doesn't know what to do, because, like, if the camera's not panned up...
right, but I mean, right now,
Oh, yeah, they just assume that, like, I'm past him. The game doesn't, like... But the thing is, if you were to have that door open and you go back and you jump, he'll spawn, and he'll start just flying around that next hallway. It's pretty crazy. I knew I hate spiders for a good reason. Heck yeah, dude. Alright, so basically that's the jump Hadouken, and he just kind of like jumps up in the air and you just Hadouken and it's basically over.
Jump Hadouken.
Jump Hadouken. And this is the elephant Hadouken. Basically we just want to dash underneath him when he jumps, turn around and throw Hadouken out. But I want to start talking about the next Hadouken I'm going to do with D-Rex. Hopefully I can get it, because it's actually pretty precise. Oh jeez. That was really close. The next Hadouken I'm doing is called Dom Dukin. And a runner called Domalix, he actually found it out. He wanted to be able to Hadouken this guy effectively. So what he did is a dash buffer while his life was filling up, and he jumped slightly and was able to Hadouken. Oh, just barely missed it. It's okay, because we got that Hadouken. So it was a good backup. Alright, so moving on to the final boss, Sigma, and Valgurder Sigma, and his dog. His dog doesn't really put up much of a fight. Neither does Sigma, actually. So I'll show you what I mean here in a second. Okay, so his dog's gonna jump over me and try to hit me and be all cool and ninja-like, but we're just gonna do this. So he's Gonzo. Now, this is what we call Jedi Sigma, and he's gonna charge me, like bum rush me, but we're just gonna do this. And he's done. Now this is Valgurder Sigma. This is like the big bad of the game, where it's supposed to be like, oh no, how do we hurt him? But it's literally like the weirdest and weakest like weapon in the game is his weakness. So get ready on time here, by the way. Actually, I need to get ready on time. I forget that I'm actually doing this. So I'll be ready on time. Okay, Stunt. I'll be ready on time, Stunt. Don't worry. Okay, cool. Thanks, Stunt. Alright, here we go. Alright, 38:57. That wasn't too bad. Not bad at all. Sub 39 marathon run. I'm completely happy with that.